cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move.
That's right. We're not sleeping in here. It is Betting the Board. I am your boy, Mikey Money. I've got Miggity Mac Daddy in the house. We got a new graphic. We're ready to go. We're fired up. We've been waiting for this Saturday all week, since last Saturday, as a matter of fact, C-Mac. Last Saturday, we were waiting for this Saturday. Next Saturday, I can't wait for that one, but we're here. It is February 21st. We are flying, man. 2 months in on the year already. Who would have thought? There's only 10 of them left, C-Mac. That's the way it works. There's 12 months in the year. You go through January, you go through February, you're left with 10. What do you think about that, C-Mac? How you doing?
What do you think about that? I think that's how everything works. Shit, like month to month, you know what I mean? Same old as we roll. But it's time here. March is right here, and I think I'm pretty locked in college basketball. I finally had a bad day, not yesterday, the day before. But I had a pretty good run. I mean, when you're the days, if you ever think you have a bad day, that's why you limit them. You know what I mean? We're going to say you just went, 2-2, where you just lost a little bit of VIG. You know what I mean? Like, that was a bad day for the longest time, almost 3 weeks. So it was good. Last Saturday, after our first two shows, unreal. Not horrible, but kind of a Saturday for me. Up and down a little bit. It wasn't awful. So I'm ready to get it today. What about you?
I feel like I've been good day, okay day. Like okay, meaning like, up a half unit, down a half unit. But it's like the All-Star break and the Olympics just like crippled me down to just only college basketball. And then I'm kind of pushing some spots out there. But last Saturday, I was 14-5 last Saturday out of 19 plays.
Oh, nice. I had a little up and down for me.
Dude, the hammer spot was it Cincinnati or no? It was Houston. I think it was Houston. Was that I had the trifecta? I had the team total under, the first half team total under, and then
the under
smashed and cash for. So, shout out to everybody that's here with us. We are live on 2 channels. You see it scrolling across the bottom. If you haven't done so already, smash the thumbs up button. We're at Sports Money 1. We're at Hitting the Books 2024. So you can find both channels out there. My guy Miggity Mac rolls live. You guys breakdowns on the board throughout the week, of course, whether it be college basketball, college football, and you know what I do. We fire off. We continue to fire on a daily basis. So it's going to be a lot of fun to talk about this Saturday action. We've got quite a bit of, I'd say quite a few plays lined up for you guys. So without further ado, if you haven't done so already, as I said, smash that thumbs up button. Shout out to everybody that's here. Blake M is checking in. Cliff the Workin 2320 is a new member. Shout out to Hitting the Books 2024. It's time to shine. Matty Ice. Big Scott 510 likes Virginia Tech in the first half. 2 to start the day. Flame Hot and Spicy. That sounds like a colon cleanser. Says yo. What's up?
Yeah. I love it. Big Scott. My dude, we see Virginia Tech first half. All righty, to start the day. Sounds good. I like it. You ready to get into this? Michael?
Am. 12 o'clock waits for nobody. And we have to be firing here. It is Florida, Ole Miss, Florida State, Clemson, Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, Creighton, St. John's, Rutgers, Minnesota, East Carolina, and Charlotte, and Loyola, Illinois, St. Joe's, North Carolina Central against Howard, C-Mac. A spot that you want to pop the top on the shop, get those bookies' panties to drop. East Carolina and Charlotte. What are you thinking? We got a line that opened up at 6. It's moved. It's kind of a weird movement. There's 5s, there's 6s. There's even 6.5s out there, depending on the side you like. You've got 59% of the bets, 53% of the cash coming in on this East Carolina, the Pirates, the old Pirates. C-Mac, what are you thinking about this game?
Yeah, this is starting to drop, down to 5. I think it's the right move here. I think it's East Carolina or pass in this game. Charlotte, we know at home, have been very, very good. 2 teams just playing a little bit different basketball. They talk about it, Mikey. Catch it. One team playing well, going up in East Carolina. It's covered 4 of 5 and they just lost to Wichita, covered that number. Before that, they had won 3 or 4, beat FAU, beat UTSA, beat Rice on the road. Offense coming a little bit better. This was the problem with the team. It still is their offense with East Carolina. But I think Charlotte, I was talking in the back, I just don't think this team should be laying really points to anybody. We saw it, I think it was maybe last Saturday or Sunday, where they played UTSA. We get a lot of them sometimes the Sunday games. Charlotte laying a big number to UTSA, 13.5 at home, didn't cover the number. So, yeah, I mean, it's just coming down. I think East Carolina could stay within the 5 here and keep this game tight.
It's a dicey team, that East Carolina squad, but it was.
But they're a team we talk about real quick that you don't play them. So they were that bad to start the year. Like, they're just that one of those teams, even like a home dog spot, you look at them, can't play them. Can't play them. These bad teams you can't play, and then you flip to conference play, and you're going to catch good value with them. Go ahead.
Right. Well, I was going to say that it's that spot there against what was it, 2 or 3 games ago for East Carolina, where they just kicked the piss out of they lost to Temple, and fuck Temple. We know that. There's that is a show moniker. But
I can't wait for later then.
I mean, look, the spots that are impressive, aside from Temple, fuck Temple, East Carolina had a really great game against Florida Atlantic. That was on the road. I mean, they won the game outright as 10.5-point dogs. So that kind of got my ire. They got my attention. They went out there and they thumped UTSA, thumped Rice. They stumbled a little against Wichita, but they still covered. I mean, this team just likes to cover the spread. So I get it. I like East Carolina in this spot. I think they can, like you said, you don't want to lay points with Charlotte. What are you doing? Come on. Are you new here?
Yeah.
You're going to lay points with Charlotte? Stop it.
Stop it.
East Carolina.
Hey.
Money line dog. How about that? Plus 220 even maybe has a little look to it. You got 91% of the bets, 87% of the cash on the Charlotte money line. It's gone from minus 230 to minus 225. I like it. I get in on there. I think you can catch, like I said, you can catch some 6.5s with East Carolina. Why not?
I don't know where are you seeing the 6.5s? I see 5s. I see a couple 5.5s. Refresh.
BetMGM has a little plus 6.5. BetMGM New York, as a matter of fact. But I do see a lot of 5.5s. Bailey. Yeah. Bet New York has a 5.5. Bet Rivers has a 5.5. I see 5s. I'm cool with 5.5. Let's call it 5.5. What do you see out there?
I don't know if you go crazy with it. Yeah, 5.5s. A lot of spots. You 5s. I think it's moving in the right direction.
Listen, Florida State Clemson's a big game for the ACC here. Now, we like to find our way through the weeds, snaking the old dune grass, slithering around, trying to find those spots to bite the bookie's bottom. But this is a big game. It opened at 9.5. It's moved to 8.5. We saw Clemson. Look, they bumbled a little bit. They stumbled a little bit the other day here. 49% of the bets, 47% of the cash on the Clemson side. So you got a road dog, a public road dog on this Florida State side of things here. Just a little fire out of a cannon. A 500 Florida State Seminoles, a 20-7 Clemson squad. Some say Clemson's going to win the ACC. What do you think about that statement, C-Mac? Clemson to win the ACC?
Nah, I don't think so. Florida State playing better of late. Do you trust it? Finally they laid a big number, dug a huge hole against Boston College in that first half. Came all the way back. BC still covered, but they were up by 20. They were up by 10 at halftime.
Yeah, but dude, isn't that BC's?
Oh yeah, we talked about it in that game that day.
They're so grimy, dude. They just find a way to just claw. Either they blow them out, or they get blown out rather, or they just find a way to be relevant. So it's to that regard though. But look at 4 straight wins before that. C-Mac, Florida State, are they for real? Can we take Florida State serious?
No. This line, you're just playing the premium for it. This is a bad spot for Florida State. Clemson's not the team I've really wanted to lay points with. Mike, I don't know if you have either. They've had maybe some better teams, but at home, they finally lost to Virginia Tech. They've lost 3 straight. That's why the spot's so good for them, I think. But before that, some of these games are, they're laying like 3 or 4 points. They came down right there, right in that number early on, right out of conference play in January or just in conference play. So, but after these 3 losses, I think it's definitely, and Clemson kind of has owned them, especially here at home the last few years with Florida State. One thing, Florida State, the offense is going. I still don't think they're very good defensively at all. And I think that's what comes to play. Look at Clemson. Is their defense to shut down Florida State. Just there could be a lot of points late. Like this would be one team total under, Florida State first half type look. You know what I mean? Clemson. Come out hot shooting, 3 losses, big home game, big spread. So I think you can look to that side of it as well if you're liking Clemson first half.
Take a little bit of a peek at that big ACC game. Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, another ACC extravaganza here. But I'm going to talk a little bit about Virginia Tech here in a few momentos. I like this Creighton St. John's game. I know it's a lot of points here, 49% of the bets, but 59% of the cash have come in on the St. John's side of things here. The old Johnnies, as it were, C-Mac. And the Johnnies have covered they've won 12 straight games, not covered. Whoa. They would be a wagon if that was the case here. But look, Creighton comes in, kind of a surprise victory for Creighton off that last game. You can look at, UConn, man. UConn, you can't is what happened there. They were 15.5-point dogs. They went into the Lions' den and they slayed the dragon and dragged it home and put it on the barbecue out there. 91-84, but I look at the St. John's team, like this to me kind of lines up. I had Marquette against St. John's the other day. I thought St. John's just had that Providence game. They kind of wired that thing. Providence, we know Providence, bunch of bitches. Shout out to our guy, Nasty Nate. Nobody wants to be in Providence. But that being said, back-to-back roadies out there, and they come back home and you take this Creighton team that just had clearly their biggest win of the season against this UConn team. And then you see this bloated number and it's like, shit, you got a St. John's team. St. John's is 7-8 at home against the spread. But then you look at Creighton on the road, they're 4-7. And one of those big wins comes from that outright victory the other day here. I'm going to get into the St. John's game, man. I looked at Creighton. I saw some of the numbers. I get it. But Big East teams in the second half of the season is what it's coming down to. Big East home teams, second half of the season, total over 150. They're 50-19. I am not scared of laying the 12.5 with this St. John's spot there. I think, in fact, we got ourselves a discount because it opened at 13.5. It now moves to 12.5. That's going to be my first official play of the show here. Can I get you on the Johnnies?
No, I'm going to stay off here. I think it might be a pretty good spot. Talked about, I like Marquette too in that game the other day. And what do you take from Creighton? That's still, I don't think, very good defensively off the big win where they couldn't cover a number, it seemed like, for 2-3 weeks, Mike. This Creighton team. They struggle defensively, especially on the road. So I get it. Big number here for St. John's. I think you could even look at their team total in this one. They just keep on rolling. St. John's. Hopkins, all the boys should have no problem scoring in this game. Shout out to Ricky Bobby, my guy Thomas. Great to see you. Good luck to you, my dude Lambo up in here. Nubo 63. What up? My guy, and shout out to Cliff D working 2320. New member.
Make sure you guys make sure you follow our guy Connor Mack. He's got himself a new Twitter account, so you got.
Oh yeah, listen. Connor Mack bets. Go get it. A temporary. Hopefully it's temporary. I get my account. Maybe not. This could be my new Twitter. Go follow it as I'm back on the Twitter sphere. Twitter/X, as you like to call it. Mike's favorite app.
They're waging war against the gambling community by not posting and sharing
all the videos.
Content. So, yeah. It's kind of a pain in the dick to try to get out there and reshare For whatever reason, there's a workaround. StreamYard had a little note there because it was like a week and a half ago. I was looking at, I'm like, man, the views suck on Twitter lately. Like, get used to pick up 1,000 of them, and I got like 10. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And sure enough, they're throttling down on the gambling content. So make sure you follow the Instagram, the Twitch, everything but Twitter at this point. But you can find our guy Negative Mac Daddy at Connor Mac Bets, which sounds better than Connor Mac Picks. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
one in the chat.
It is. Well, when I kind of put that was so long ago. I was even going to change it then, but it was what it was. So, it is what it is. It was what it was. Now we're here from scratch. Maybe it looks like what's been basically happened. So, yeah, go like it. Mike's talking about how, I don't know, it seems like, they're kind of shitting on the gambling, which is kind of a cesspool on Twitter. But like it, like the videos, retweet our stuff. Will be excellent. That always, if you just do that, like in this video, we appreciate it. Right, Mikey?
You know it, damn right. The Connor Mac Army hitting the books comes out in full force, so you guys can certainly check him out there. You can check me out at Mikey Money Wins because we're here to win today, you guys. We're going to move on into the 1 p.m. college basketball slate. Now, I'm not a big early rush in there and get my head cut off with those 12 o'clock games. So I'm very selective, but I like that St. John spot quite a bit. Georgia Southern and App State is a 1 p.m. battle that opened up 7.5. You have 61% of the bets, 54% of the cash on the App State side of things here. The total's kind of ping-ponged around. Depending on where you're looking, there's 146.5, there's 148.5. Bottom line is you got a lot of money coming in on the over. 73% of the bets, 80% of the cash. And this is a big Sun Belt battle, right? We've got ourselves a situation where we've got App State coming in here. Back-to-back losses for Appy Valley, as they say here. They had a tough one against Marshall. Now, Marshall, comes off that loss again the other day. So it's kind of like, well, what's going on with Marshall? I was pretty high on Marshall here, but Georgia Southern had no problem waxing their bottoms, 101-87. They took on Georgia State the other day there. They did take a 2-point loss as a small 1.5-point favorite, C-Mac. What are you thinking about this game? How are you looking to get us paid?
Yeah, I think this is an App State kind of spot. And I want to go back to their defense in this game. They got into that, kind of what I don't think they should do today with Marshall, a little bit up and down. And they shot the ball. There's a Marshall team that doesn't play a bunch of defense well. Whether it's 58%, team that does shoot the three great. They shot the three well, 11 for 25, 44%. When I look at Georgia Southern, I know they want to play at a quicker pace, but this is a bad offense, Mike. When you look at all the metrics and shot, make the field goal percentage, it's basically 300, 280 from three. And when I look at App State, is this team where they thrive with their defense? Right? Defense, and under until that Marshall game. Sometimes we see it, and we could get another game where we get points here. But I got to go of everything that I've gone from this team is taking the unders. Is an under here, and I got 70.5. I went with the team total here with Georgia Southern. I think they both they correlate here. The full game, but I think App State will get in the 70s. Maybe the high 70s against this Georgia Southern defense. But yeah, I'm going to dare. I think to get back to how they want to play in a kind of a bounce back spot here. A lot of over love. It's moved up a little bit, a couple of points. The total you talked about, the over money. Maybe we get it again, but I got to get back to why this team's so good. Why they won at Georgia Southern, 81-65, Mike. These games at home, South Alabama, 65-57. Like, they need play defense. I think we're getting a bargain. I got to take it. Team total here, under 70.5. This one I put out on Twitter as well. Like it. Retweet it. Here, early action. Getting in early. Getting in early, baby. Team total under, Georgia Southern.
Little team. Not a team worth, if I could quote MMA Jeff, not a team worth of shit from Georgia. So shout out to that. I see it. I just like to retweeted it. In fact, you've got another one on there as well. Georgia Southern team total under 70.5. He's got another spot for you guys too. So go check out Connor Mac Bets on X and you can see the second play that he's got out there. Man, I'll tell you what, C-Mac, Kansas, Cincinnati. Yes, it's a Big 12 barn burner. yes, it's a spot that I feel like I have been dialed the fuck in on both these teams. Now, the question is whether or not Peterson goes and whether or not he plays. How long does he play? And is he on minutes restriction out there? I mean, clearly the best guy on the court his team his points total is like double everybody else out there. So thing for me is I was looking at this Kansas spot, right? So like taking a walk through time with Kansas. I loved them against Arizona. I thought that what they showed me against, they beat Texas Tech as a dog. Now I want to get in the fade Texas Tech business with the exception of today. They go out there, they slam down on Utah, but not a cover. And this is the thing, like they win one, they don't. They cover, they don't. They cover, they don't. So you kind of get that. Is it Peterson factor, the Peterson effect? I'm not sure, but they took down Arizona, had that spot outright. They lost to Iowa State. That to me felt like you just beat the number one team in the land. It's an easy spot to say fade them here at Iowa State because Iowa State's a rumbler and bumbler in the Big 12. But then they go into Oak State. They kind of throttle Oak State. But then you look at the Cincinnati side of things here. And what do I know about Cincinnati? Love the unders in Cincinnati here. They find a way. And Utah seemed like one of them over squads out there, but they handled Utah. They smoked Kansas State. But do we take Kansas State serious as a basketball program? They took down UCF, West Virginia and Houston were under spots. They're an under team. I like the under, but I'm going to Kansas in this spot here. Huge total. And this is what it comes down to. When you're a ranked opponent, when you're a ranked team, you've got a conference rival and a low total. It's 70-31 on the college basketball season over the last 3 years, but it's cashed 10 straight times. So in other words, a low total, one team's getting shut down. It's Cincinnati. We've seen Cincinnati get shut down time and again. Cincinnati on the road, just 3-6 against the spread. And I think this is a great Kansas spot. I think it's a big number for a reason. I gave you guys a trifecta last week. I'm going to give you a trifecta this week. I'm going to go Kansas in the first half, Kansas in the full game, and I'm going to go with the under 139.5. Cincinnati unders, they just run under. If it's between 117 and 154, a 19-year sample shows 330 to 230 on the under faction here. So Cincinnati has always been an under team is literally the statement there. So I got the trifecta. I'm going to take the first half. I'm going to take the full game, and I'm going to take the under. I got 9.5 on the full game. I got 5 out there at Caesars. We'll call it 5.5 is kind of the prevailing book. And then the 139.5 on the marketplace out there. I do see a 139.5. I see some 138.5. So we'll call it 138.5, C-Mac. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and this has moved way up, this total. Try to get in college basketball. I talk about all the time, whether it's a total that's way high that's come down, I'll hit the over. These just college basketball, it doesn't matter to me. So many games, you see the value in it, like you do here, Mikey, even though this total's moved up. There's 139.5 here.
Yeah.
Get that, Mikey, if you like it. Cincinnati,
I do.
They play to who they were. 2 good defenses. They want to muck it up. A horrible free throw shooting team, which is normal. Seems like year in and year out. This team doesn't get to the line much. Look at that. They made 12, only 18 attempts. It's 324, 295, 67%. That's 331st in the country. And the overs that they play is the perfect spots where it was like Kansas State, horrible defense, UCF, an over team. We'll get to. I think, we talked about just Utah. That game gets back to after Utah played some unders. That's the game they could get over later. Utah, UCF. That's one of the overs that I was looking at. I think they could get there. But in this one, Kansas, another good defense. Both these two teams, I can't talk anywhere off it. Unders. 8-18 to the under. It's Kansas. I've been on a bunch of them this year, so I don't mind it. Even since his team total under, they'd have to have a great day from the floor, I think, to get to 66 here. You know what I mean? With their team total even.
Right. Can they do it?
Yeah.
I looked at the Cincinnati team total on
at Kansas. Yeah.
I just thought Kansas is going to mop the floor up with them boys out there. Shout out to Top Set. Shout out to Jag. Says Georgia Southern is stingy on D. Top Set says good luck today. And Nick Ilvento likes San Diego State -2.5, or is that South Dakota State? I can't tell. C-Mac. SDSU. I'm going to say that's San Diego State. What do you think about that? Is that San Diego State or South Dakota State?
San Diego State. So he's talking about late game. Well, they're midday their game, right? Right?
You know what?
I thought that number is bigger.
I didn't really look at that game today. I looked at UNC and Syracuse, man. Look at
under I said this in that game. Under
in the South Dakota State game, San Diego State game.
San Diego State game. It's already moved down here. You know what? 3.5, 4 points.
You get me on the under in this UNC and Syracuse game here. It's 154.5 is some of the numbers out there. I said this before. Well, I guess I'm not the only one that said this, right? But big injury factor there. That UNC Duke game kind of spoke volumes of what's going on. And then, so you see UNC beats Duke, right? They lose their star player. They struggle against Miami. They beat up Pitt. But then everybody, and this blew my mind, is everybody, their brother, their mother, their aunt, their uncle, and their puppies were on NC State laying that 7.5 and 8. I mean, that was like the free gift of the year. Just a couple days ago, UNC got smoked by NC State. Now they're going to roll into Syracuse, and Syracuse almost lost by double. I mean, they almost got doubled up. The double-double, the old Dunkin' Donuts double-double. It was 101-64 at Duke. They come back to the Carrier Dome. I like the under in this game here. I thought this is one of those spots where I don't think I certainly don't want to take the Syracuse Orange here in this role against UNC. It wouldn't surprise me. This is one of them. Here's the thing about Western New York, and when you see, I guess Central New York is where Syracuse falls into, but these teams, they'll beat a team like UNC. They'll storm the court. Everyone's going to be ecstatic, regardless of the fact that key players and personnel are out of this game here. So it wouldn't surprise me that Syracuse finds a way. They do bounce back. They are 90-48 in kind of that bounce back spot. They're a bubble team. They're not a bubble team this year, but perpetually they're a bubble team. And to me, it's more of an under. This is where the ACC has been rolling unders on the season. Divisional opponents, conference opponents, ranked road teams versus unranked teams have been rolling to the under as well. But at home, Syracuse has been a dominant defense. Whether
dominant.
Well, I don't want to say dominant. That's probably a tough word.
Get the hell out of here.
At home, they play defense. On the road, they get rolled over. But at home, the Syracuse unders are 150 and 118 on top of that. So I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under in this spot here. Now, look, when I talk about this team, 8-10, they are to the under at home. But they're 7-2 to the over on the road. Syracuse at home, man. There's something to be said for the fact that they roll up. They roll up. They play some defense. They're also in a inconsistent win-1 over-under. Their last game was over. It's got to be an under. You got 3 of the last 4 since the injury. UNC's been an under team. I love the under in the Syracuse game. I'm going to take the under 154.5.
Yeah, where do the points come from? From North Carolina. They need some of these younger guys to step up. They're kind of bench minutes and now thrust into playing a lot more minutes. So I don't mind it at all. Yeah, Nick, Dutcher should have them ready. That was a horrible second half by San Diego State the other day against Grand Canyon. I think he gave up 44 points to him. I kind of I don't think Colorado State's very good. I've hit on them. They play slow at home. Maybe even San Diego State first half, I think, might be a good look. Come out after that horrible second half that they played at home. Might come out a little bit of a hot start. That's looking on the first half.
Dimitri likes Wyoming and Santa Clara. We'll talk about that Santa Clara game. I'm with you there. Surprise, C-Mac. Nasty motherfucker Nate says the Friars are going to smash. You think the Friars are going to smash today?
Not surprising. Yeah, book it. Yeah.
Book it.
Clip it.
Hey, listen, auto bet for me. And I'm going to do it again. Oh, it's literally, I've broken them down 3 weeks ago. I said this is going to be an auto bet spot. Navy and Army. I'm going to lay the 7.5. I know it's on the road and it's come down. 9.5s have moved to 7.5s. It's 71% of the bets, 69% of the cash on the Navy side of things. So there is a little bit, and yeah, I guess Navy's already clinched the conference here, but they're just that much better than the conference itself as a whole. And yes, their last game, 9.5 at home against Lehigh. They held Lehigh to under 50 points. Not that Lehigh is, the glass, the emerald diamond of the conference here, but they still beat the shit out of them. They've stumped Colgate. Colgate, a lot of people like Colgate in that spot too. A lot of people were saying, this is a great Colgate situation. And yet Colgate found a way to be on the bottom side. It was a 1.5 point spread. It was tricky. It's kind of like Miami O. You give them a tricky little 1.5 and everyone starts thinking the other side. No, Navy just beats teams up. They stomped Bucknell. They took down American. Lafayette. This team just continues to find a way to win. And then on the other side of things, if you're ever going to sell high on a shit Army team, it's after they just took down Loyola Maryland. 87-77. They won outright as a dog by 10 points. That fucks the books up right there. A dog wins outright. They got to bring that number down just a little bit here. And I think Navy at 7.5. We're catching a discount here. This team at home, 9-5 ATS. Granted, Army does travel. They are 8-5 against the spread on the road here, but I want to get in the Navy business, man. I think Navy goes out there, handles them, start to finish.
Is Army at home? Army's at home, right?
Is Army at home? Excuse me. Did I mess that up? Army is at home. You're right. When you're right, you're right. Army at home, 4-9 ATS. 4-9 is Army ATS at home. 8-4 is Navy on the road. I think the midshipmen have no problem coming in here waxing Army's bottom, especially after Army took that big win the other day there. What do you think about this Navy spot? Have you been tailing?
No, I don't want anything. Army, Navy, I'll stick to it in football. I don't want him here. Navy's the better team. I couldn't lay. I don't want to lay points with them. I'm not in that business here, Mikey. You know what? One of these somewhat early games is a team playing really, really well. Central Arkansas. This is one of my favorite overs. Any over bettors out there? Rover for me. Central Arkansas, very good ATS. I found this 151 just too low. It's not a crazy early start time to this game here, Mikey. What time is it? 2 o'clock Eastern. Both these defenses. Yeah. Both these defenses aren't very good. Florida Gulf Coast straight gives it up. They should be able at home, though, to get their own points in this game. At Central Arkansas, this team consistently gets in the mid-80s, Mikey. So I thought this number was way too short here. Over 151, my favorite overs early on. Central Arkansas, Florida Gulf Coast. Over 151.
Gulf Coast, 151.5 for our guy, Miggity Mac Daddy.
151.
Tennessee and Vanderbilt plays at 2 p.m. Any thoughts on that big SEC tilt?
No, not really, but I know you have a bet on that game, don't you? Let's hear it.
I like to get in the under business here. Interesting spot there. Vanderbilt. I mean, look, they've been firing. This is another one of those situations where everybody, their brother, their mother, their aunt, their uncle, their dog, and their cat were all fading Vanderbilt against Missouri the other day. I was surprised. I thought, you know what? 3.5 points, but yet Missouri, hey, outright winner, small winner, but outright winner, 81-80. Tennessee just continues to fuck. I mean, look, you play against an LSU team. I'm going to discount their non-cover there because they're beating them up so bad. They just kind of started putting some second stringers in there in that second half of the game. So yeah, they were laying 14.5, but they won by 10. They got the job done. You play Oklahoma, follow that spot up there, 89-66. Vanderbilt might have been in that look ahead spot. I also think Vanderbilt falls into the sweaty palms situation. They've been beating everybody up. They saw the college football season. They saw the college basketball team go on a tear to start things off. And now you're standing at the free throw line as the season comes down to a grind, and you should continue to win, but things are getting tense. Things are getting tough. They've had some big losses out there. Look at Oklahoma, 92-91 loss to Oklahoma, and that was on their home turf. Can Tennessee go in here and stomp these boys? I don't know about stomp, but Tennessee's not afraid to go out there on the road and fuck some teams up either. So I think this is one of those spots where I'm going to take Tennessee I'm going to take the 3.5, but it would not surprise me to see Tennessee win this game outright. 19-7, big game for them against Vanderbilt. And yet Vanderbilt fell victim, I think, to that look ahead spot the other day. They already lost once. Why can't they have two in a row and then figure out a way to finish off the season? Can I get you on Tennessee? Plus 154 on the money line, C-Mac.
Man, this game was just tough for me. Tennessee playing well, 7-1. Its last 8, 4-0. I get what you're liking on the road. Like, that's the biggest thing. This team at home is usually bet on, but to go to Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky, took care of Mississippi State 10 days ago. So, and then just beat down Oklahoma at home. Vandy, I was on Missouri there, catching the 3.5, 1 point game.
Yeah.
Get it? I think it's the Vandy all right spot. This game is just tough. I just didn't see a ton of value either way, really. I mean, I think if you're on one side like you like Tennessee, roll with it with their defense. So they could show up more on the road. I think there's points. It just can't, will it get over? I'm not so sure. I thought the line there was pretty tight as well on this total. So good luck. Get it, my guy. Get it.
I say everybody, their aunt, their uncle, their brother, their mother, their cat, their dog, and then C-Mac was on that Missouri side as well. So shout out to you guys, man. I was carrying the yell for the squad, I guess, on that one. Shout out to Plug Boy. Shout out to Jorge Herrera. Cliff D. Workin says Butler -3 as we roll into a big battle here. Underrated, maybe. It's 2 p.m. It opened at -3.5. It's moved to 2.5. And it's one of the specials of the day in Long Island against the Lakers. The Mercyhurst Lakers are going to host the Sharks here. 135.5. I don't know. I see all kinds of numbers on the total with this game. You got 91% of the bets, 93% of the cash on the over in this spot. The lines come down a point. Do you get the Sharks at a discount at 19-9, or do the 13-5 Mercyhurst Lakers come in here and pull the upset? C-Mac, what are you saying?
I like Mercyhurst here. Good old Mercyhurst. Who wants Mercyhurst here? Nobody, right? I think this is telling. This under too. I like the +3 with them. It's open basically 4. There's a lot of 2.5s. That's how they want to play their game here, is to the under. I think they already lost a 2-point game, I believe, at LIU earlier in the year.
So you got a little revenge.
Pretty low scoring. Yeah, a little bit of revenge, and Mercyhurst has the score as much LIU. They still have some guys that can get it. Blunt, Martin, some of these other guys. So at home, both these teams match up well, and I want to back Mercyhurst at home. I think they win it here outright, but took the 3, and on that total, lean under on the number.
I like a Mercyhurst spot here as well, because they had the gauntlet schedule there, the road trip, second half of the season, 3 games on the road. They come back home. They kind of got, I don't want to say dusted by Wagner, but they were favorites and they lost. But now you've got that kind of second game back at home. It's kind of like the stabilization effect here. And Long Island hasn't, they're not really, beast when it comes to covering spreads. They're 8-10 on the road. A lot of road games for this team, but they're a sub 500 team when it comes to covering spreads. So I get down with Mercyhurst. I think this is a good spot to take the Lakers, not to be confused with the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, Lakers.
I don't think anybody's confusing Mercyhurst. I'll tell you what, Miami and Virginia. No. Miami and Virginia is a spot we both had circled on the card here to talk a little bit about this spot here. Big game, big opportunity. Tend to kind of shade away from some of these big games here, but this year particularly, I guess I can get down on some of these big top ranked teams playing against each other here. They're fun games to watch. We've seen, look, we just had that Bama showdown the other day. That was a nice little fun overtime thriller. This is a big spread. Virginia's laying 7.5 here. It started at 8.5. It's 79% of the bets and 72% of the cash, C-Mac, on the Miami Hurricanes, the U as they are. The U has moved, the total's gone from 146.5 to 145.5. 84% of the bets, 80% of the cash are on the over, and yet it has come down. So a little perplexing when it comes to the total in this game, but I mean, how can you not like unders here? Listen, I got a stat for you, C-Mac. How about this one? Teams after a straight up win against Virginia Tech, for whatever reason, Virginia Tech is the nemesis of college basketball. Those teams are 0-7 ATS their last 7. They're 2-5 straight up. They're 1-11 against the spread the last 12 times teams have played Virginia Tech. So Virginia Tech seems to be the Achilles heel of most teams here. I'm going to take Virginia. I like Virginia, and I know you want to talk about the total, so lay it on us.
Yeah, give me the under here in this game. I just think it's too high. I think we got to take advantage of it. They're going a little off Miami, and this team, they're just not playing blistering fast. You know what I mean? To me, this total should be more in the Virginia spot, 142. And Virginia just off a crazy game where the total went way up against Georgia Tech, who's just all of a sudden just giving up on the year, Mike. Georgia Tech. They're just playing no defense. Like, giving up 90 points, which should total stay off. I saw that. I'm like, man, they might score, 85-90 in that game. Virginia did 94-68. So I think we get back to the at-home, grind it type game. This Miami team is scrappy, though. They could maybe hang around. They've been better than I thought on the road this year. Even that NC State game, NC State gave it up there. About a week ago, I think that game was, maybe last Saturday, that game. So to me, we stay under here. It's like this control of classic Virginia type game. Lean on their defense has been really good all year. And that offense that's been not blistering fast, efficient, it gets the job done. So under there. I want to hit on Jorge Herrera, my guy. Great to see you. Cliff, he likes Butler. We'll touch it. And Dimitri, we will get to that Wyoming and the Santa Clara game late. And to anyone, especially all the members, of course, if you have questions on games, hit them up. We'll hit them up at the end of the show on any games. So let's get moving, Mike.
Drop your comments out there. Let us know if you guys have questions on the games. Arizona, Houston's.
Or what you're betting, both. Yeah, questions or what you're on today.
All right, listen. 72%.
I'll be right back.
Of the bets are taking the Arizona Wildcats. It's gone from 4.5 to 5.5. We know Arizona, listen, it's 50-50 on the spread. 50-50 regards to the number. First glance, I like Houston for a couple of reasons. I saw Arizona, they kind of faltered a little bit there. Texas Tech was that was a schedule. I think that was a scheduled loss. You look at the big win they had prior to that. They beat down Arizona State. They beat down Oak State. They struggled against Kansas. I was on Kansas in that spot. They struggled against Texas Tech. Then Texas Tech gets JT Coppin hurt, right? And now they go out there and they just bust up BYU. I mean, they don't cover the spread either, which is impressive. They overvalue this Arizona State team. But look, the number to me in this game, C-Mac, talk me off of Houston because I see a home team. They just had a tough situation. Look, they kicked the piss out of Kansas State. They beat Utah. They beat BYU. They're beating everybody in their way. That Iowa State game was a great game. They were up with like 10 minutes to go. It was back and forth the entire game. 10 minutes to go. They're up 3-4 points. They kind of folded down the stretch there. They've got 3 straight spread losses. And then you come out here and you open up with a 4.5. At home, they're 9-7 against the spread. And, listen, 2 good teams that play against each other with a big number like this, bigger than 2.5, they cover the spread between 2.5 and 5.5. When you have 2 teams that have a 75% or better win rate, the favorite's gone out there and gone 141-90. They're 7-3 in the last 10, showing a ton of time. And again, this is a trend that goes back 18 years. So it's not like it's just a little fluke anomaly here. These teams go out there and they bust them up. And I think this line, when you see a 4.5, you say, you got to take Houston. Can I get you on the Houston side with me, C-Mac? I see 5.5s now. How about that?
Yeah, I'm going to stay off of this game. You talk about it, public dog here in Arizona. And even in their games that they've gone on the road, they've lost, of course, Houston has this game circled. And I don't know if I could try if they shoot the ball well. These guys, Sharp, Fleming, they definitely can. I think if you take Houston, I would just take them early if you're going to take them. The longer this goes, I don't want them, really, even though they might have some of the numbers, the better defense. Arizona got a pretty good defense, too, and this team's deep, of course, as we know. Be plenty of guys, the rotation that they have. So, yeah, this is a live bet for me type thing. I kind of lean under. Don't love it, so I'm off. Get it. This is the Sharp spot, though. The Sharps love Houston in the spot.
A spot we got. A spot we
public dog. Public dog alert with Arizona.
Why not? I mean, the public saw they were one of the best teams in the land, and now it's like, oh, the public comes back at it. They don't watch it every day. They see it. They say, hey, why not? Where's my guy Bo Jackson? I just saw, for some reason, my ire caught the my ire caught Twitter, and one of the things trending, Gematria. I don't know how you say it, C-Mac, but Gematria is trending right now. I don't know why. You know what that shit is? You know that black voodoo, that fucking black magic that goes into. It's the 72nd day of the year, and this team's looking for their 72nd win. Apparently, the Phoenix Suns could improve to 33-24, and in Gematria, the Magic are 33-24. I don't know. The Magic could fall to their 35th loss against the Pacific Division, and the Suns are 35 if you spell that out in Gematria. So apparently, if you buy into that stuff, here's a free NBA play of the day. It's the Phoenix Suns. I don't know. I just saw that. It caught my eye more. But listen, we got to talk about your boys. They are your boys because you fucking got them in my 5-leg parlay. It's the UNLV Rebels against the Air Force. The Air Force coming in here as a 16.5-point home dog. C-Mac.
Yeah.
Are you just auto betting UNLV the rest of the season? What's your deal with this UNLV team?
This is your team, Air Force. Talk about it.
Fuck Air Force, man. You got to fade them boys is what it comes down to. At the end of the day, they stink. They're probably, if they're not the worst, they're definitely in top 5 contention for the worst squads in college basketball. Now, I don't like that the line hasn't moved in their favor. It's minus 16.5. It's staying at 16.5. You have 64% of the bets and 86% of the cash. The Rebels, we talked about a young sheriff who moved he wasn't a sheriff at the time. He ran away from some trouble in Kansas. He moved himself out to a small little up-and-coming mining town by the name of Tombstone. And he befriended a card shark gambler who was really not a big fan. Didn't have a lot of fans, but Val Kilmer played him well. Doc Holliday comes out there, says, all of you can kiss my rebel dick. One of the best scenes in movie history out there. And you know what? The Rebels did stick it in my backside here. 91-86 against Colorado State, 2.5-point favorites. But can they bounce back against this Air Force team? Yes. I think the answer is yes. There's not a lot to talk about here. Air Force comes off of back-to-back losses. New Mexico. They lost to the Pups, dude. You lose to the Pups 14.5 points against Fresno State. They got busted up by 30. Yeah. UNLV can go out there. I mean, look, UNLV's biggest win of the season. Which one is it? Is it Boise State? Is it Grand Canyon? I think UNLV can go out there and fuck these boys up. I don't care if it's on the road. Give me the 16.5 points. I'll lay it and play it with this UNLV team. I'll think they're running Rebs.
Yeah, we talk about how horrible this Air Force team is. Good old morale in the tank. Scott's been fired. The head coach, finally, after, I don't know, he's been there about 10 years.
You did mention that backstage.
But they're horrible. Are they going to, since he's gone, they play better all of a sudden? I don't know. I mean, they've consistently are huge dogs and can't cover a number at all. I know, and the Scott guy who got fired, it's like he already was in like investigation for treating the players bad, like all this bullshit, the cadets. So
isn't he the guy that was saying? Was he the guy saying like his players didn't belong there and most of them won't be coming back to follow? Wasn't he shit talking all over the place?
Yeah, Yeah, he's got a whole thing going on there. Yeah.
Dickhead.
So he's gone now. We'll see what they can do.
All right, 3:30 p.m., you guys. Appreciate everybody that's tuned in. We're trying to bet the board. We're moving down the college basketball card. C-Mac and I have compared some notes on some plays that we want to talk to you guys about. And we appreciate you being here, tuning in. You can follow our guy, Miggity Mac Daddy, at Connor Mac Bets on X as he tries to restore the rights of Connor Mac Picks. I like Connor Mac Bets better. Texas and Georgia.
We already went over
big
that.
Battle in the SEC. It's gone 1.5. It's 2.5. It's 3.5 now. Dogs, road dogs in Texas. I got two plays in this game. This is one of them double dippers for me, C-Mac. 63% of the bet, 66% of the cash on Texas. The total's not moving. It's sitting at 163.5. I like the over. First and foremost, I'll tell you this. This is an over system play. It has to do with Texas. It's 163.5. You have 77% of the bets, 77% of the cash on the under. And what you're looking at in this spot comes down to this. Texas doesn't cover. Last game goes over. They're playing a team that scores more points than the league average. And those games go over. They're 20-1 to the over. It's cashed 12 straight times in the last 2 years. So this is a recent trend. This is recent form with Texas. It's kind of current players and faculty and staff since the coaching changes. But it's 20-1. It's cashed 12 straight times. I'm taking the over 163.5. Now, the question is side. What side do we get involved with in this game here? And I'm going to go to Georgia, C-Mac. Teams coming home favorites. Busted an opponent up the previous game as a dog. Bunch of three-pointers. They're 61-35. You surprised the books. You made a bunch of threes, over 13 threes. And now you're a small home favorite. 61-35 beat Georgia. So I'm going to double dip. I'm going to take the over and Georgia. How about that?
Yeah, I'm off this game. It seems like the money here is going to Georgia. It's stretched out a little bit, 2.5. The spot seems good, but I don't know if I could trust them defensively. That's what with this total. I just think it's kind of right on here, the total. Maybe your Georgia game, this is basically right around this number. This is a little bit high for Texas, the total for them, more in the 140s, 150s type total, but they've been an over team, 16-9. We were talking about a little bit earlier. I just think I gotta really love the over to be on a mid 160s almost, Mike. Yeah, 164. Like a lot of things need to go right. We see Alabama, which now their totals are gotten crazy high, but we'll get into that later, Mike. Their total with Alabama, they've gotten so high, but yeah, I just think on the total could go either way. It seems like a good game. Texas, I don't know. Playing Texas basketball, 17-9. They've been all right on the road. They haven't been great. They beat Oklahoma. It hasn't been really good all year. They get the big win at Missouri. Was dealing with a few injuries there. So lose at Auburn. That game gets you over 88-82 or 85-80. High point, Nike. So, hey.
I like some high points.
Get that cash. Yeah, we know you love it. You love the points.
Big Ten.
Yeah.
Big Ten, ugly game. Oregon and USC. Now, listen. USC. Recent form does not suggest a buy on when it comes to USC. And I'm not just talking about losing to a big – Illinois is a good team, right? There's no doubt in the Big Ten. They'll probably be an Elite Eightist. They lose to Ohio State. That was on the road. I did not like that Penn State form. Penn State, they win by 2. They're 3.5-point favorites on the road. So taking that aside, Oregon stinks, man. This team, in recency, they beat Penn State, and they were at home. I just told you, Penn State fucking sucks. 83-72, they busted them up, 6.5-point favorites. They're losing everything, Oregon is. And so this is, to me, this is a bounce back, get right. You just played big competition. You lost Ohio State. That's a tough road game. You got Illinois at home. Now, listen, it wasn't pretty. It was 101-65. So for this USC team to come into this thing as a favorite And a favorite of 5.5 points tells me just how bad Oregon is. But the big thing for me, the home favorite after getting stopped is in a rebound fashion here. It is true. It is 8-0 on the season here. 8-0. The team's favored to win. They lost the previous game by 30 or more points, and they're in a favorite position. The opponent's off a loss as well. That is a 8-0 trend out there. I got to take USC. I got to be in the USC business here, minus 5.5. I just don't want to get involved in Oregon. I got easy fade for me on Oregon. But then I see an 8-0 trend. I'm on the USC Trojans. How about that? I don't like to wear Trojans, but I'll take the Trojans. C-Mac.
Yeah, Oregon. I mean, can they score here? Biddle's back. I mean, in that game against where they score 44 against Minnesota 3 or 4 nights ago. I mean, Simpkins, he had 0 for 10. He had no points. He's back too. These are some of their scores. I mean, that was just awful. Dead nuts under there in the Minnesota game, 61-44. SE, what's his face? I know they've been dealing with Arenas. He is sick. He's questionable with his leg. Baker Mazzara already questionable with his knee. 2 scores of theirs. So that's why I got to be off in this game. Maybe you cover. They don't even need to play. Oregon's that bad. But SC beat them too with Oregon, all their kind of guys out earlier in the year. I remember that game. 82-77, December 2nd. Long time ago. 2025. Like a whole year ago. But yeah, I'm off here. Trojans. Yeah.
There are 12 months in the year. As we learned at the start of the show, there are 12 months in the year.
There are 12.
All right, C-Mac. This team here, listen, it's 4:30 p.m. It's Utah Grand Valley, and it's Southeast Louisiana, C-Mac. I had a bomb of a bet the other day. It was against our Southeast Louisiana squad out there. I was on the Incarnate Word side of things. Yeah. And yet they go out there and they stomp the shit out of them, 74-62. Now, since then, if I stuck to the playbook, which is fade Southeast Louisiana, I'd cash both spots. They lost to Northwestern State. They lost to East Texas A&M Commerce. Those were 2 road games. Rio Grande Valley, one of the better teams in the conference, I think, to some degree. Look, they got busted up by Stephen F. Austin. Respectable. That's the best cover team in the land. They go back out there. They thumped Lamar, but they have not covered him back-to-back games here. I think this is a bounce-back get-right spot for Grand Valley. I don't care if they're on the road. I think you're going to take Louisiana. Look, at 3.5 points is a gift at Southeast Louisiana. Can I add Grand Valley to your card? The Vaqueros.
No, this is a pass for me. They are the better team, but the Southeast Louisiana team, where the one place they play is at home. You know, where there's just some of these teams in conference, you know, it's tough for them, you know, and that's this total's low. Texas Rio Grande Valley, you think about more of over last year, is under. Team, that's why we have this total so low. Like, so it could be a struggle for Southeast Louisiana, but they beat Incarnate Word, you know, they covered against McNeese. I had them there. Nicholls, they won 67-61. They want the game in the 60s. So to me, I'd lean under. I'd be on the under in this game.
Looking at a lower scoring battle here. How about UConn Villanova? This is a big 5:30 tilt. I know it's not really something that's jumped off our page kind of pre-flop here, but I am seeing cash moving in on the UConn side of things. I see 72% of the bets, 78% of the cash. It has moved a full point in that direction. And you've got this UConn team, the aforementioned UConn Huskies. And look, UConn, tough game against Creighton. How do you lose outright against Creighton? You're 15.5 point favorites, but was that just a look-ahead spot here for this Villanova team on deck? They had some tough games. They lost to St. John's. That was a game that was at the Garden. And everybody was like, oh, they play at the Garden too. That's no big deal for them. And yet they did have a big deal against them, and they took that L. But between Creighton and that St. John's game, they busted up Butler and Georgetown. And Villanova's just gone out there and kicked the piss out of everybody. Does Villanova come out there and stripe these boys? Or do we see it's a small spread. 2.5 points small dog. Is the wrong team favored, C-Mac, or does UConn just come out here and get an easy victory?
I think it's right. I'm not going to get involved here. Villanova playing well. UConn's really been their struggle, though, it seems like the last 3 or 4 years. You know what I mean? For Nova has been this UConn team who's balanced. One thing with Villanova, how well they've been playing is the starters, moving the ball around, everyone getting involved. And that's why I think what they've ripped off, 6 straight wins, something like that, 7 of 8. The offense has looked pretty good, especially in these last few games. They could go, granted, against defenses like Creighton, Xavier, Marquette. To me, it says lower scoring written all over it, but I'm off. UConn, not a covering machine this year. Like only 9-18 ATS. Where Nova on the flip side, 17-9 in the number.
We are betting the board. Appreciate all you guys that have tuned in. We're live on 2 channels here. So if you haven't done so already, you can see it scrolling across the bottom. We're at the Sports Money Network and we're at Hitting the Book. So if you're tuning in and you could do us a favor, shoot on over to the other channel. Hit the thumbs up button, and then it doesn't matter which one you watch. Just watch us. Yeah. We appreciate you guys that are watching us on both channels. And we are an hour deep, and we are moving through the board. Nicholls State, Stephen F. Austin is a 6 p.m. pop. My favorite, Stephen F. Austin here. They like to cover the spread. They like to win games. We like winners, C-Mac. C-Mac's a winner. We like C-Mac, but Stephen F. Austin, the Lumberjacks. We like Lumberjacks. I signed a big, beautiful bill about the Lumberjacks. Can I get you on the Lumberjacks, C-Mac?
I have a bet. Go. Take it away. This is yours.
That's it. I'm on the Lumberjacks. It's DJT approved here. So I gave you a little impromptu. Yeah. Stephen F. Austin here. But look, I'm not a big Nicholls State guy. They're mediocre at best. It's a big number here. Some would say it's too big. We like big. Big is good. But I think this is a team that just, look, they're in form. I talked about Rio Grande Valley. I kind of think that's one of the better teams in the conference here. I think it's like Grand Canyon, Rio Grande Valley, and then, Stephen F. Austin, kind of the leaders of the pack, if you will. But they just continue to, listen, Eastern Tennessee or East Texas A&M, that game, they're 15.5-point favorites. Sometimes they get too big a favorite. But I'm not going to get Nicholls State. Nicholls State's fucking terrible. The only team they beat was Incarnate Word. I mean, come on, stop. We're not taking Nicholls State.
Yeah, it's a big number now. You're just paying
you're paying the
even a month ago. Yeah, a month ago, this is probably 8, Yep. Now, Stephen F. Austin just keeps winning at home, 14, covering. And I've been on a decent amount, maybe not as many as Mikey over here. But I get why you're sticking with them and rolling there. Talk about Nick, 140 feels low in that game. It's been an under type series. And like we talked about, the Nova games against all those teams have been going over, right? Because this seems like the normal totals would be 136 like they've been the last 3 or 4 years. I think the last time they played, it was OT 75-67, but most of them have been around, this line or 1 to 135, and a lot have gone under. So in that game, 2 good defenses. We'll see. I'm just throwing that out there. We're talking about the total in the Nova game.
Jesus, 6 p.m. here. It's 3 p.m. Pacific. It's the game that can fuck off forever. It's none other than a road Temple, a home Wichita State. It's 8.5. It's a big spread. The total's moved up a point. It's 142.5. 89% of the bets, 89% of the cash are on the over, C-Mac. The Wichita State Shockers, 2 in the pink, 1 in the stink, are the Shockers. Can Temple pull out an upset? What do you think?
I'm on Temple. Your boys here. These 2 teams are too similar. These 2 teams are so similar. Wichita State didn't get upset. They still won the game at East Carolina. and they've been pretty good here at home. I think there's too much love. Nothing stands out between these two teams here. To me, this is like the spot's good for Wichita State, but this line to me is a 4. That's why I got to grab these points here with Temple, who's played pretty good on the road. What are they here? Temple 5-3 and 5-3 ATS on the road is Temple. One thing I always like to fade too, unless Wichita State kind of gets out, builds a lead, like this team can't make free throws. I always talk teams that don't want laying points. Them 67%, almost 340th in the country, 336. So they get to the line a little bit. They can't make them. And I think that keeps Temple around in this game, to me, in the end. And I think they have the scorers here with Temple. And they can kind of play a lower scoring game. We've seen, Temple grind it out in the low 60s. Or if they got to score. To me, there's not a ton of separation here in this game. So I'm on Temple. Plus 8.5. Value. I'm on it. Your boys.
They are not my
Temple.
boys.
All right. Well, they're going to cover today. Book it. Clip it. Clip it. For the AI.
Vermont.
Clip it.
Vermont and NJIT. NJIT, the old Institute of Technology, stationed in New Jersey, hosting Vermont. This is a spot play for me. I'm looking at Vermont. I'm going to lay the 4.5 on the road here. The old Catamounts, not the season the Catamounts wanted, I suppose, here. Kind of, not a great road team when it comes down to it against the spread. They're 5-9. But to me, first of all, the Institute of Technology is fucking terrible. And they were winning by like double digits in the first half against Albany, right? I don't know if I happen to be on NJIT in that game. So I'm trying not to let recency bias fuck my head up here, but somehow they were up double digits and that they lost by almost 20 points. That's how bad the Institute of Technology is. Now, Vermont, a lot of people liked them to go out there. They were small favorites against Maryland, Baltimore, but they still lost. They lost by double digits, 13 points. They took that L. So I just think this is one of them spots where Vermont, to me, is the better team. And we're getting them at a discount because they just came off that loss. I mean, before that, they played Bryant. They're 13.5 point favorites. This is a double-digit team for Vermont, and yet because of that little stumble there against UMBC, that was on the road, but I don't think NJIT can cover shit. I'm going to take Vermont minus 4.5. Little spot play for me, C-Mac. What do you think about that 7 p.m. slate?
Yeah, not enough for me to get involved in this game. It's a revenge spot here for Vermont. They already lost, right? Did they play earlier this year? Yeah, January 31st. I kind of remember that game. 12.5 they were getting in that game. Like they won 79-77. I think this Vermont team's all right. I don't think they're very good though. Both teams off losses. Vermont's second straight road game. NJIT just lost at home. Bad loss to Albany after playing well.
Dude, they were up double digits.
Trying to take care of business.
They were up fucking double digits in the first half.
In that Albany game?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And they lost
49-21. Well, that's a holy shit. You see this in college basketball, though, Mike. You know what I mean? You're up 10.5, and they lose by 20 and get outscored 49-21. I mean, just a horrible shooting.
I was all over NJIT in that game, and I was fading. And my buddy was like, "You got it. New Jersey Institute's bad, dude." He just kept telling me how bad they were, and I was like, "All right, dude, I'm gonna take them." Fuck. And at halftime, I was counting my money. I'm like, this is free money. They're stopping these boys, and then they lost by double. They lost by 20, dude. Fuck that team. I'm taking Vermont. And in a revenge spot.
Yeah, it is a revenge spot. I think NJIT, though, shoots the ball a little bit better. They were awful, like you talked about, especially from three. And Albany, obviously, just got red hot looking at the second half here. Just raining everything here. Like easy baskets, threes from everywhere. Albany, holy shit. Well, good luck. I'm not, even though it's a revenge, there's no way I'm going to lay 5 with Vermont.
Shout out to one of the softest guys in the business. Razor Sharp Picks is checking in there. He says, salute Sharky Water Nation. Shout out to our guy Shark in the house as well. Says Andrew over here watching college baseball. Suddenly not so casual Saturday here. Andrew K says, yes, sir, Sharky. College baseball is his favorite. I did not know that, Andrew K. I'll tell you what is a fan favorite here. Oral. Everybody likes some Oral. South Dakota's taking on Oral Roberts. It's moved from, well, I guess it's kind of ping-ponging around the old money line here. It's started at -1.5. It's basically a pick 'em, C-Mac. 54% of the bets, 50-50 on the total. It has kind of ping-pong there as well here. South Dakota, 14-14. Oral, a far cry from busting up an Ohio State team in the tournament several years ago here. 6-22. I remember sitting at the casino on that game. I had some Oral that day, and double entendre, I guess here. But look at, they suck. They've lost back-to-back games. They're 1-4 in their last 5. UMKC, the big win out there. If you look at common opponents, South Dakota busted up UMKC, but South Dakota's off of back-to-back losses. They just played at Denver. Our over squad went under at 163.5 in that Denver game, C-Mac. What are you doing with this Oral Roberts spot?
I had to fade Oral Roberts. This seems like a game they could get here and win. That's why the line's here, Mikey. But I think this team's that bad. I've been picking on them a ton this year. And I think South Dakota, as bad as they are defensively, I think they can win here. One thing, Oral Roberts, that's why some of their games, they, as bad as they are defensively, they can't score enough. And, South Dakota can a little bit. And they're crazy, but their offense is better. One team's 14-14. Sometimes this is just like the layup. I thought Miami, Ohio, that over really their team total yesterday at 80, I thought it was just crazy. I thought that it should have been like 86.5, the team total. Sometimes you just, some of the easiest one on the board you got to take, and that's how it looks with South Dakota. If Oral Roberts has the best day they've had in 2 months, I got to eat it. But I won't. South Dakota, money line, plus 100. I'm on it.
That bad. Listen, I don't know why. I don't know why I've been hearing so much about this team here, but it seems like, and it could just be my small purview here, my small field of vision. Number 10, Illinois, the old Fighting Illini. They're going on the road. They're going to take on Mick Cronin and company. 6.5 points. The public is smashing Illinois. 80% of the bets, 72% of the cash. But the line's not moving. It's sitting at 6.5. It's been 6.5. The UCLA Bruins, to me, it was a letdown spot against Michigan State the other day. In fact, it was not a good trip to the old state of Michigan. They got thumped by Michigan. 30 points there. And I remember saying, literally, I said, I like UCLA in this spot against Michigan State. What are they going to lose by 60 in Michigan? Yeah, 30 points against Michigan, almost 30 points against Michigan State. Illinois comes in this thing. They're in their West Coast roadie here. They just toasted USC 101-65. Look, I've been seeing a lot of people talk about this UCLA squad, and I'm kind of seeing this line not moving here. Big Ten unranked dogs at home against ranked opponents are 41-26 over the last 4 years. Can I get you in the UCLA business, C-Mac? Can you get on the Bruins? Are you fading the Bruins? I don't really. I think I'm going to take the Bruins in this game, surprisingly enough, even though I watched them lose by 60 points to back-to-back games against Michigan's.
Yeah, it's like, why isn't this 9? You know what I mean?
Right.
UCLA's been hard to trust. Where you want them is at home. I don't know. I haven't bet this. Yeah, I don't know if I get there here. They're definitely going to play a lot better after just getting destroyed. Both those games talked about. And then Michigan State, which I liked, was UCLA, the team total under, which cash only got 59. Didn't really do anything. But they're a different team at home. We'll see with Illinois. They beat SC and been hanging around the last couple of days. I just don't know if I get involved. Yeah, I haven't. So wait for me there.
8 p.m. We got a couple spots in the 8 p.m. window as we grind out the card. We're getting through the conclusion of it. So if you guys have questions about any games, make sure you drop them in the chat. We will do our best to acknowledge them and see if we have a look on the side or total for you guys as you're trying to make some winning bets. But we're looking at the Pups. I talked about them. I might have an affinity for this team. They are playing against a tough foe in a bounce back spot there. New Mexico Lobos, the old Lobos, C-Mac. One day I'll have to understand the origin of the Lobos, but look, the Lobos had a tough go against Utah State. They followed up with a tough go against Boise State. They did beat up Grand Canyon. That was a big Grand Canyon victory. They were small. That was almost like a free square because they're just a better team than Grand Canyon, and they showed it. They busted up Air Force. Now, they were 28.5, one of the bigger spreads on the board the second half of the season, and they crunched them. They beat them by 37 points here. Fresno State. Here's the thing about Fresno State. Yes, they beat Air Force. They beat them by 30. We talked about that with that Air Force game earlier today. They had a tough go against the Cowboys. They lost by 10 points on the road. It was an elevation spot there. They're coming back home, and one of the best teams to bounce back at home off a loss are the Pups, C-Mac. Fresno State, 14-0-1 to bounce back at home off a loss here. And look, difficult travel spot there at Wyoming, potentially. New Mexico just kind of got the monkey off their back there. They took down Grand Canyon. They took down Air Force. They're back to their winning ways, but we're seeing 9s. Is that too many points? I think it is. I'm going to take the +9 here. I'm going to take a Caesars +9 on the Fresno State Bulldogs. The Pups, C-Mac. What do you think? New Mexico going to bust these boys up?
I don't know. I like the Heidenreiner guy to play. He didn't play this last game, right? At Wyoming. Right. He averaged 17 or 18. He's questionable again. I mean, he's just one of their better scorers, on the team, inside and out. Even though his 3 percentages at kind of as high as the shooter that he's been in his career. So I kind of like Fresno here. We talked about this earlier. It's a wait for me here. I need to dig into this game a little bit more. They played well at home, and when they get beat up by Utah State here,
yeah,
that's about it. I mean, they beat Nevada, right?
Dude, New Mexico could win this game by 30 or lose outright. That's the current state of New Mexico. They're not at home. I mean, that's, I like the Pit. Big fan of the Pit. But
they beat Air Force. They lost to Grand Canyon here by 11. That's what I was looking at. They beat UNLV. Yeah, it's a wait for me.
Speaking of Grand Canyon and the Cowboys, holy shit. The worlds are intersecting here. The Cowboys rolling out to the only for-profit institution in college basketball ranks here. Grand Canyon. No shame in their game. They are proud to be a for-profit university, -7.5 and moved to -8.5. They will take your money. They will not invest it in anything that they don't deem appropriate. They just want to get paid, and they're not afraid to say it. 17-9 here. The Wyoming Cowboys. Look at one true road win this year for Wyoming. It was against Air Force. What are you doing in this game, C-Mac?
Yeah, let's get to it in this game. Grand Canyon off the big win. I think they win here. I'm not going to lay these points. I'm going to look to that side that you were talking about with Wyoming off after that crazy game with Fresno. All those points. Like, one thing with Grand Canyon, I do like their defense a lot. And their offense can sputter a little bit at times. They had a great second half against San Diego State. We were talking about that with the San Diego State game. The Grand Canyon, beat them both times this year. But I don't think Wyoming, after all that shooting day at home, 92 points, I'm going to go back to where I took them a couple times this year. That's their team total. I got 69.5. I know there's a lot of 68.5 now. I don't think they break 70 in this spot. I would even look first half, but it was pretty low. I think it was 31.5, right around there for the first half. Wyoming team total, but 68 at Colorado State, 63, San Diego State 62, Utah State 60 at Fresno. They're just a different team on the road. And if they cover, it'll be low scoring, I think. You know what I mean? Like, especially after an output like they just had, and everyone just saw them put up 92 points. It's back to a rough shooting day, I think, for Wyoming here. Even with Grand Canyon, I think off the win. They still got a pretty good, solid home court. Does Grand Canyon. So Wyoming, I don't know if there's a lot of 69.5 still. I got this early this morning, but Wyoming team total under 69.5. I think 68.5 is all right too.
Well, I am going to run down the last spot for my. Well, listen.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Tell you guys, I'm an auto fade on Texas A&M, so I'm going to take Oklahoma as bad as they are.
All right.
Just my business. It's my business, none of your business. But I'll tell you what. First of all, C-Mac, what do you think about Sac State moving into the MAC for college football? I know it's a quick impromptu question for you. Sac State.
I like it.
MAC movement. Now, they're saying when Ball State plays Sacramento State, it's going to be called the Ball Sac Invitational. What do you think about that?
Horrible. This guy's jokes. Awful.
Come on, that was good, dude. That was a good one.
Ball Sac State.
Santa Clara. Look, I love this Santa Clara spot. We've talked about Santa Clara on the road. I'm not gonna fade them here at this point. It's 7-3 in the last 10. And what I like most here is San Francisco just had a huge game against the Zags. We were on the under in that game. We cashed it easy peasy. This line has started at 158.5. It's down to 157.5. The totals moved from 7.5 to some 7s out there. This is a late nighter, so it's not really heavily bet upon just yet. But Santa Clara on the road against a conference opponent, 91-47 in the 19-year sample. So these boys just kicked the piss out of everybody on the road, particularly. And for me, this is the best opportunity from a Santa Clara spot. They just played the Zags. They lost 94-86. So you saw that. To me, when you look at kind of if you're going to play the ladder game or they beat this team and that team and whatever the case may be, San Francisco puts up 59 points against the Zags last game. Santa Clara put up 86. So we've got ourselves a situation here where Santa Clara is coming in the more rested team. San Francisco just had that big battle 3 days ago. Maybe they quit. Maybe they stopped playing here, but I think Santa Clara can go out there, take care of business. Western Conference overs have been a thing as well. When the Western Coast Conference overs against conference opponents are cashing as well, 312 and 243 in that monster 6-year sample. But I'm going to lay it. I'm going to lay the 7 here with Santa Clara. I'm not scared. This is a road team, man. These are our boys on the road. C-Mac, what do you think?
I kind of like it too. I think they get their team total as well. You know, I think they get over this 82.5 with Santa Clara. One problem for San Francisco this year has been that defense. Like I saw them gave up 90 to Oregon State a while ago. Pretty sure. Double check that here. Yeah, gave up 90. They lost 90-63. Holy shit. They have 84 to Loyola. It's Santa Clara consistently, you know, even on the road has been in the mid-80s here. You know, and been pretty dominant. Like you talked about, just scored 86 against Gonzaga. This offense is good. They got scores all over the building. You know what I mean? So I think I think they cover the number. I think they get their team total here too. Good offense, efficient offense. Santa Clara. Still issues defensively. We saw it in the Gonzaga game. You know, with Santa Clara.
Find a way. Santa Clara finds a way to get us paid again here at 10 p.m. So, Mick and Mac Daddy, we are 85 minutes in. We have bet the board. my friend.
Yeah.
We started at 12. We worked it all the way through the late night spots out there. There's one late night game looming in Iowa State and BYU. But is there anything that we didn't get a chance to cover that you have on your card that you want to give us some closing thoughts on?
No, AOD. I got Nicholas handy. Appreciate you. Kane's Nation. You liked it? I wouldn't say it was a great joke. I thought it was like, yeah, come on. It's like softball lob. But I'll give it to you. Shout out to AOD. Papa Ricky. What's going on? Redbeard. Up and in here. We talked about that game earlier. Mikey Loves is under with North Carolina, Syracuse. Get into this Iowa State game. I talked about them losing both games last year to BYU. This number's short here. It's gone what? From 2.5 to 3, 3.5. It's back down here to 3, 2.5. What do we think here? BYU have enough scoring all around. This is just a tough spot for, late night in Provo here. The late game. That's the issue. Right. To me, Iowa State, just the better basketball team all the way around, off a couple big wins for them, Kansas and Houston. So tricky spot. But I talked about with BYU, just do they have enough pieces around this team? Like I talked about Davis needs to get going. It's big. I mentioned Saunders, him being out for the year is just not good. Spot up shooter, create his own shot. With him out, I think it's a big blow for BYU and a team that struggles defensively. So, but what do you got here? Iowa State?
I think
did you win this here? 2.5?
I'm going to fade Iowa State.
You're fading BYU? Provo late night?
BYU. Here's the thing.
All right.
Iowa State, you mentioned it. They had some big wins out there. No doubt about it, right? But those were some home victories. Arguably, that Houston game took a lot out of them. And I think BYU can keep it close. I mean, what are they going to do without Saunders? BYU is a top 10 offense, top 50 defense based on the rankings.
No way. It's not. They don't have a top. Nothing. Sorry, that defense sucks. It's not great. Let's be realistic. The BYU defense?
They can rebound. I mean,
they can rebound, but they're not very good. Yeah, they're not very good in defending. Very average from outside, inside. Yeah.
Look, there's no question Iowa State should kick the shit out of these guys. The problem for Iowa State is when they go on the road against winning teams, they suck. They're 10. If you fail Iowa State on the road against winning teams, you're 10-2-1. You're 8-1-1 in the last 10. I just feel like this is a letdown spot. It's the.
I mean, they lost what? TCU. I remember they lost to Cincy right early on, a little bit. Iowa State. Talked about a Cincinnati team that struggled. Yeah.
I like what BYU can do, and frankly, this is a big game. This is probably the biggest game I don't want to say of the season. It's probably. Let me look at the schedule here. Who they got left? They got Iowa State, they got UCF, they got West Virginia. This is the biggest game left of the season for BYU here. Tough game against Arizona, 75-68, tough loss. They covered 2-1 in their last 3. 99-94, not the greatest performance against a shit Baylor team, but in all fairness, they were 3.5-point road favorites and they've covered. So why can't they cover against us? I mean, for them to cover, they're going to have to win outright. This isn't a last basket team. This is BYU's got to find a way to wire this fucker, in my estimation here. But I like BYU. I'll reserve the right to come back and change my mind later on the UFC show, C-Mac. But
all right. So you haven't bet it yet, is what you're trying to say.
I haven't bet it yet. No. Daryl Turner says opinions on Hawaii rebounding with a win. Can Hawaii bounce back?
I haven't looked there. What about you?
I've been playing the unders in Hawaii, and I've been having a pretty good clip of it. Santa Clara battles, the dogs in conference play continue to find a way.
They lost to Cal Poly last night? Or was that Friday?
2 nights ago, right?
Hawaii. Yeah. At home.
That was the game where, yeah. So they got the Gauchos. I'm not sure what a fucking Gaucho is, but the line, it's early. So this is a 10 p.m. game. There's 1,100 tickets in the sample. I don't see anything in regards to cash flow on the side. I see it's moved from 3.5 to 4.5. Again, don't know what a fucking Gaucho is, but they're on the island. The old adage. I like the unders on the island. I do. There's a lot of distractions. You come out there, and look, the total 3-11 to the under at home. So it's not like I'm fucking putting my neck in a and then, the Gauchos 5-8 on the road to the total. I go to the under. I take the under in this game. I'll lock that one in. I'll bet that right now.
The under, huh? After over. Oh no, that game went under. The total was 161. Wow. Against Cal Poly.
Huge number.
Wow. Crazy. Big. Santa Barbara, too. Looking at them.
Cal Poly, by the way, was 11.5 in that game. It started at 12.5. They moved to 11.5. So they still found a way to cover. Yeah. It's kind of an odd scheduling spot. Second leg of a back-to-back. You don't usually see these squads play like that. What, they played yesterday and they're playing again today?
You got to look up the Gaucho, man. The hat. You see their logo?
It's badass.
He's like a South American, like horseman type guy.
Looks like a fucking bandit. He's got the mask on.
Gaucho.
And the hat.
Yeah. Gaucho.
There's Ramon Scott chiming in. He says the Gaucho is a traditional South American horseman and cattle herder.
Yeah, see? He knows what's up.
That's a Ramon Scott. All right, C-Mac, we've been rocking.
He was in the wrong chat. He was in the wrong chat, but I'll give it to him. I'll let it slide. Sit the like, Ramon, over here.
Make sure you guys do smash the like button. We are live on 2 channels. We are live on Sports Money Network. We are live on Hitting the Books, and we appreciate you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the new background. I had a few words from Miggity Mac this week, but I did spend some time and effort putting it together, C-Mac, mostly copying and pasting those fucking conference logos.
Killed it.
We're here. We have a nice looking background as we continue the betting the board season. We'll be back next Saturday. We do it every Saturday for you guys. Try to get it done in an hour and a half, if not sooner. But lots of content. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We have a lot of plays that we gave out there for you guys. Lots of looks, lots of sides, lots of totals. Lots of Miggity Mac Daddy. Hopefully we get him back here for some Paramount Plus UFC action. C-Mac, before you go, Team Canada or Team USA, what are you doing tomorrow morning? 8 a.m.
Come on, USA.
All the way, baby.
Fuck Canada. Nah, I love you. I mean, but here, go check me out. Temporary Twitter. Maybe it'll be my regular one. Who knows? Connor Mac Bets. Go follow me. I'll follow you back. Everyone that follows, I follow back. Go like the video that we have out there. Retweet it. All that fun stuff. I'm going to rip through a couple here at the end, like that, just for looks for me. Leans Southern Illinois, Northern Iowa, under 132 in that game. We talked to Fresno, was a lean, and bet we hit on that game there. What else do we have here? Bethune-Cookman. It's weird to say I'd lay it. They just covered 5.5. I think they're laying 6. Been great at home. It's crazy. Bethune-Cookman. Lay the 6 there with them. I think Arizona State could be live as a road dog, a lean for me. Another one, this is the game we were talking about. Austin P, everyone loves them here. Like kicking ass, taking names. I look out against Jacksonville. I think that game goes under 141. On Jacksonville needs to play at their slow pace at home, which they do. That game's in the 60s, and I think I leaned to their +7 as well in that game. Little double dip that I was looking at. Jacksonville's bad. This is an ugly, ugly team, but they play ugly basketball at home. Just throwing that out there. I think that's it. Let's get the fuck out of here. Hit them with your shit.
Put the bow on the show. I'll give you 2 more spots there. I'm going to go official on UCLA. I'm going to take Arkansas. I'm going to lay the wood with Arkansas here. Double-digit favorite as well for some final thoughts out there. Miss Smokes-a-Lot's in the house and says Stanford Cal over. Likes the over. Andrew K says the Olympic hockey has been insane. Miss Smokes-a-Lot says Louisville. Go Louisville. But appreciate all you guys tuning in here today. Great show.
Oh, UCF, Utah, over. Playing a bunch of unders lately. Back to and playing a bunch of teams. Both these teams playing Houston, Kansas, Mike. You know, I think they get back. West Virginia, Cincinnati. You know, I think this total would have been 160, you know, before both these teams kind of who they've been playing. I think there's a little value with that over. That's one I was looking at last night. And I was kind of hoping it might go down a little bit. You know, I love a good 152. Sorry, it's 154 and a half. Yes. UCF, Utah, over. Looking at that as well. I haven't bet it. I'm just putting that out there, but I might be on that over late night game. But maybe I'll join the UFC. If I'm home here, we'll do it. I bet it. We'll be here. All right, let's get out of here.
We will do just that, you guys. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. We'll be back next Saturday. I'm your boy, Mikey Money. That is Connor Miggity Mac Daddy. Connor Mac Bets is the X page you can find him at now. And make sure you like and subscribe to both channels. Thank you guys for tuning in. Leave a comment, post show. Tell us what your favorite bets are. The comments help us a ton.